Navajo rugs, jewelry, pottery, baskets, sculpture, and so much more. Welcome to Atin Gallery in Durango, the biggest Native American art gallery in Colorado. And it's all thanks to Pepsi.
The franchise was for the reservation.
It was the 1950s when Mary Jane Clark's husband Jackson owned the Pepsi bottling franchise in Durango. His territory included the trading posts on the vast Navajo Indian reservation southwest of town, where money was scarce, but there was a wealth of talent. Generations of Native American artists weaving beautiful Navajo rugs and blankets, creating stunning turquoise jewelry and other treasures.
The traders paid us in rugs and jewelry instead of money, because they didn't have a chance to sell these things, you know.
The weavers learned that the Pepsi man, they called him, in Durango would buy their weaving for a fair price, but also give them a case of Pepsi-Cola. So then my father came home and had a cocktail party and sold all of the weavings to his friends, and decided the next day he would go back out and talk to all the different traders that owed him money.
Jackson, who died in 1997, acquired so many rugs and other art that he wholesaled some to other retailers around the country and started a native art gallery at the Pepsi bottling plant in Durango, which became the Atin Gallery in 1957. Today owned and operated by the Clark family, Mary Jane and her two adult children, Antonia and Jackson.
Well, it's so interesting, you know. It's a different kind of business.
It's a business Mary Jane Clark knows very well. She grew up on a reservation trading post in remote Blanco, New Mexico.
And we had the only phone in the area, so my father delivered messages from doctors or call doctors or whatever. You know, it was kind of the center of the area.
Her father had moved to the dry desert climate from Chicago, seeking relief from tuberculosis.
People still were using wagons with horses, and I always had a horse.
It was a different world back then. It's kind of like growing up in the Old West almost.
Kind of. But it was a good way to grow up, and people helped each other a lot in those days, you know. They really were aware of their neighbors and what the neighbors needed.
And that's really what Atin is all about, helping Native artists by providing a reliable market for their amazing work and the income they need to survive and continue creating.
We serve that purpose for them, so they don't have to wonder where they're going to sell their rug. They just need to wonder, you know, how quickly can I get this rug done so that Jackson will buy it from me so that, you know, I can have the money I need.
That's Navajo weaver Anthony Tallboy's favorite part of his work.
Getting the money.
Anthony is one of many Native artists who have traded with Atin and the Clarks for generations.
He's a Navajo medicine man. The problem is if you work as a medicine man and you do it all of the time, pretty soon you take on all of the illnesses or problems of the people you're working with. So you need to break away from that. And one of the things Anthony does is to work on these beautiful weavings.
The art's wonderful, but the people are interesting too.
Anthony is among the relatively few men who weave, but obviously it takes incredible talent and skill for anyone to be able to do this.
I'm in total awe of Navajo weavers. Very few Navajo weavers draw designs or sketch out patterns. They simply start and build it in their head, and that's really what makes a great weaver, is the ability to create these beautiful patterns just out of your mind.
Yet weaving and other traditional art is in danger of disappearing.
The majority of the Navajo weavers are 65 and older, and younger people are not picking up the trade. And so, yes, I would not say dying, but diminishing and will soon be dying. And I tell people, if you want to keep Navajo weaving alive, buy a Navajo rug.
It's reaching a point where there are today, you know, probably around 2,000 active rug weavers. And when you realize the Navajo Nation is over 500,000 people, that's not a very big percentage, especially when you realize that 100 years ago, every Navajo woman could weave a rug.
Atin is filled with beautiful Native art, representing Native artists from about 20 tribes, including Hopi, Zuni, and Navajo, each work representing the talent, time, and effort of an individual artist. Since 1957, the Clark family and Atin Gallery has provided the market and the income those artists need to survive. But they all need you to help keep it going.
If you want to keep Native American art alive, you know you need to buy Native American art.